Cassie here, welcome back to my channel. Just a quick disclaimer for this video, I am doing a critical reading of the book P.S. I Love You by Jenny Han. And if this is like your favorite book in the world and you just can't stand to see anybody say anything negative about it, then maybe this isn't the video series for you. I will be doing a critical reading of this book, critiquing the things I don't like and pointing out some of the things that I do like. But I want to remind you all that this is not for the sake of just crapping all over someone's work and making fun of it and just having fun laughing at someone for being a bad writer. This is primarily for educational reasons. I am an author and I have watched videos like this myself, and I feel that I learn so much from hearing what people don't like about a book and even like the little details. So I might be getting a little bit critical here and picking on the tiny things, but that's because I think that that helps us all to become better writers and see what not to do, what sounds a little bit off, and how to do it better. So now that that disclaimer is out of the way, let's get back to the reading. It just bothers me as a writer that books like this are so popular because it's so lazy. You can't just, I mean, you can, obviously, she did, and everyone loves it, but it's like, you can't just stick a scene like, well, I just want this scene to happen, so I'm just gonna stick it in there and make it an entire chapter, instead of finding a clever and appropriate transition. It's like she just doesn't know how to do transitions, or didn't want to try to think of a good way to like make the story flow more naturally, so she's just like taking little snippets, little pictures of scenes here and there and just compiling them all without even attempting to make them connect in any way. And that makes me irritated as a writer who doesn't do that and works really hard to not do that. And this book is just insanely popular and everyone loves it, and yay. See, this is what I'm talking about. So chapter 22 was this long, and it started out with Peter and I are at Starbucks, and then Starbucks scene. Okay, that happens. Now chapter 23, about the same length, and it starts out, I'm pushing my grocery cart around looking for condensed milk for the key lime pie when I spot Josh in the cereal aisle. And then so ensues a scene with Josh telling her that he got into this school or something, and it's just so incredibly lazy. Like, I don't understand why we couldn't have weaved that in. Like, why weren't you like maybe talking to Peter about, I don't know, it hurts my brain to try to make this better when it's so bad. Like, what, you could have maybe at least been talking to Peter about how you need to leave Starbucks because you gotta go shopping and get stuff for this key lime pie you're making, or something, like something to connect these scenes at all. It's just every chapter is just like, okay, completely different thing now, and it doesn't relate at all to the previous thing. And that is not a terrible way to start a chapter. That's usually kind of the purpose of starting a new chapter, is sometimes is to like, because you need to move on to a completely different day, or maybe even a week later or something, and that's when you stop and start a new chapter. But it's just lazy when you do it every 2 pages for every scene you want to write, because you just can't write transitions. And then the next chapter starts out with, the song girls take Valentine making very seriously, and they're making Valentines. And so it's just yet another thing that's just like, okay, now we're on to a completely different thing, and they're making Valentines. Like, why wasn't Lara Jean shopping for stuff to make Valentines? Like, that's a way you could have connected those scenes. There are so many ways you could connect these things and not have them have to be every new scene is a new chapter. It's such a lazy way to write. Please don't do that if you are out there writing a book. I feel like this part is maybe a typo or something, or I don't I don't know what this means. So Lara Jean's talking about how if you tell Kitty that you don't like something, then she won't like it either. And if you tell her that you do like it, then she'll want it. So she used to tell Kitty that she loved raisins because she actually hated raisins and she was fine with Kitty eating them all. And it says Kitty used to hoard raisins. She was probably the most regular kid in kindergarten. What does that mean? I haven't a clue. Oh snap, you guys! Peter's with Genevieve! So the last chapter was just Margot and Lara Jean and Kitty making Valentines. And then this chapter, Margot, oh my gosh, Lara Jean got up early to make cherry turnovers for Peter and her friends for Valentine's Day, and she left early so she could put her Valentine for him in his locker instead of handing it to him directly. And she tried to leave early so that she could get to the cafeteria before him, and instead she got to the cafeteria and walked in, and he was standing by the vending machines with Genevieve. And he has his hands on her shoulders, scandalous, and he's talking to her intently. So let's find out what that's about. Actually, we probably won't find out right now. He'll probably just be like, it was nothing. And then she'll just worry about it for another 6 chapters. And then maybe we'll find out. So, also, I would like to take this opportunity to note that it is chapter 25, and we still have yet to get to the promise of the premise. The premise being, can a girl be in love with 2 boys at once? Because supposedly a boy from Lara Jean's past is going to return to her life, and Lara Jean's feelings for him suddenly will return as well. But that still has not happened almost halfway through the book. So, that's not good writing, people. Keep that in mind. If people pick up a book to read what's on the blurb, they are going to put it down if they have to read this many chapters and it still hasn't even come to be yet. That part of the story hasn't even started yet. There's no way I would still be reading this if I picked it up to read for that reason. So as I predicted, we don't get to know what he was talking to Genevieve about because Lara Jean, so far, doesn't even ask him. Which would be fine if it was she's not asking because she's not worried about it and she's they're just friends, whatever. But she is worried about it. She's just not communicating those concerns at all. Because that's just how she be. Okay, Peter gets some more points. He wrote her a really, really cute poem for Valentine's Day, and he got her that necklace. If you remember from the first book, there was a necklace in his mother's antique shop that Lara Jean said that she liked, and at Christmas time, her dad said that the necklace had been sold, and I thought, oh, I wonder if Peter got her that necklace for Christmas, but then he didn't get it for her for Christmas, so I was like, oh, that's lame, that would have been cool. But it came back around, and he did buy it for her, but for Valentine's Day, which is actually even cuter because that implies that he, was still planning to be with her by February, which is even better. So, I guess there's some props for Peter, okay? He's not all bad. Okay, he might have lost, a quarter of a point by the way he responded to her just now. I mean, maybe I'm just being a little too picky about Peter, but she was like, I don't know if I can even accept this necklace, it's really expensive. And he said, I know how much it costs, don't worry, my mom cut me a deal. I had to sign over a bunch of weekends to driving the van around picking up furniture for the store. But no biggie. It's whatever, as long as you're into it. It's such a boy way to respond to, emotional intimacy. I don't know. It just bugs me. Their relationship is shallow and immature enough already. You don't need to continue to make it that way over and over and over when every single time they start to get into something deep, like, he says something like that, and it's just like, okay, now we're just back to being like, oh yeah, you guys are, like, kids. I forgot for a second there. and, and the moment is further cheapened by the fact that Lara Jean's immediately looking around the cafeteria and wishing that Genevieve was there to see Peter giving her that necklace. So, it's just like every time they have a sweet moment that I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of cute. It's like immediately just, oh yeah, you guys are really mature. Never mind. So that Valentine's moment was cute, but that was like, it bugs me that that's the only thing we saw. We saw like Peter giving her this necklace and they were together for like a minute while that happened. And then it just immediately jumped back to like her being at home later in the day and loving her necklace. We just don't ever get to see them really spending that much time together. And that's part of why I just don't care about them as a couple, because I just get told a lot that they're good together and that she really likes him and he's sweet and he's this and this and this, but I don't actually get to see it happening. I see all the cute little sweet moments that the author throws at me, but it just feels like more depth is what I want. I desperately want more depth in this relationship. I want to see them have meaningful conversations. I want to see them talking on the phone every night before bed and like sharing their deepest, darkest thoughts and secrets and feelings, and that's just not happening at all. Or it doesn't even have to be that. It just like more time, I guess, even if it's not like just really deep time. It'd be nice to see, even when we saw them on a date, it was like we got to see maybe a page or half a page of them at a restaurant and then like mentions that they went to a movie, and that was it. And it's like, it's just like, I think about Twilight, okay? And I know Twilight is not like the best example of like amazing fiction, but it's pretty good compared to this. It's like fantastic. But I just think about like the scene where Bella and Edward are at the restaurant and they're talking about him, they're talking more openly about him being a vampire. That's like an entire chapter of just them talking at the restaurant, and it's interesting the whole time, and it makes you like invested in them. And that's not the only chapter that's like that. There are several chapters that are just almost the whole thing is just them like talking about themselves and about life and getting to know each other, and we just haven't gotten any of that from Lara Jean and Peter. So I don't know why I'm supposed to feel anything for these people or care about them as a couple. Okay, so Lara Jean's at the library and she sees some girls watching the video of her and Peter, and it's like a new version that someone made. And first of all, I'm so over this video thing. It wasn't even a big deal to begin with, and it's still coming up again in chapter 26. It doesn't matter. But what made me laugh so much was that she told them, just so you know, watching this video is the equivalent of child pornography, and you guys could be charged for it. Your IP address is already in the system. Think about that before you forward it on. That's distribution. No. That's definitely not child pornography at all. First of all, you're not having sex. Second of all, you're fully clothed and you can't see anything, and you're just kissing a boy in a hot tub. That is just so not child pornography. I know she's just like freaking out a little bit, and she probably doesn't actually believe that it is, but it's just, the statement is so completely absurd that it made me laugh a lot. And the girl asks, how is this child porn? And she says, I'm underage and so is Peter. And the other girl smirks and says, I thought you guys claimed you weren't having sex. And yeah, basically she's stumped by that. It's just, It's silly. Oh my gosh. There's so much to unpack here on this page. So first of all, she shows Peter the video, and he is like absurdly pissed off about this stupid Little Mermaid video. He's so angry. He's swearing and slamming his fist against the car steering wheel, and it's just silly because it's so stupid and unimportant. But the thing that bugs me even more than that, first of all, I do have to say I might have been wrong. There's mention of Peter's Audi, like the car, and I now am thinking maybe he got a new car for Christmas or something, and that might be why he only has 2 seats in his car now, when he used to have more. Like, he might have gotten a new car, and I just forgot. So maybe that previous complaint about him only having 2 seats in his car, maybe I was wrong about that. I will admit that, if that's the case. But the thing that bugs me about this is she's trying to calm Peter down because he's so insanely angry about this video. So she suggests that they take a drive. And then the very next paragraph says, the drive calms Peter down, and by the time we get to my house, Peter seems to be in good spirits again. Hey, here's an idea. Maybe we should have seen what the drive was. Were they talking about something? What was it that calmed him down? Just driving, or did they have a meaningful conversation or something? My guess is not, because that doesn't seem to be their thing. But, like, what a missed opportunity there to do something. Like, they're having a nice little drive together. They could have... like, we just get to see none of it. And then it says, he doesn't kiss her goodbye, and it makes her feel guilty how bad he feels. She says, it's partly my fault, I know it is. He feels like he has to make things right for me, and now he knows he can't, and it's killing him. First of all, none of this is your fault, girl. Like, other people are making stupid videos of you that are hurting your feelings. That's not your fault at all. And secondly, I don't understand why it's killing him so much that, like, she seemed really upset about the videos before, but in this particular situation, like, she seems very, like, kind of whatever about it, and she was kind of trying to, like, make jokes and just get him to cheer up and was fine with it. So why is he freaking out so much if she doesn't even really seem to care? I don't know. It's like this whole video thing was like a stretch to begin with to even be considered some interesting drama, and now, like, several chapters later, they're bringing it back around to make more drama, and it's like, it was dumb already, and now you're just using it again, and that just makes it even worse, because it's like, why not have something else happen? Like, I don't know, maybe the other boy in her life coming back and her having feelings for him, like the freaking blurb says is going to happen and still hasn't happened. Maybe we should do that now. I don't know, just an idea. Oh my gosh, and now, okay, so now she's home, and her dad found out about the video, and now he's telling her, I wish you had used better judgment that day, Lara Jean. There are long-lasting consequences to our actions. Yeah, I know, right? Like, so terrible that she kissed her boyfriend in a hot tub. How could you do such a horrible, horrible thing that no teenage girl has ever done before? It's really tragic. I mean, my family is pretty conservative, like, probably even more so than Lara Jean's family, because I grew up in a Christian home and, like, was saving myself for marriage and stuff, which doesn't seem to be Lara Jean's situation, and Margot has already had sex. So my family is more conservative than this, and I would say I don't see at all, like, my parents having this reaction to someone videotaping me kissing my boyfriend. Like, they know I had a boyfriend, and they realized that I kissed him. Like, that was a thing. So it's just so stupid. They're making I thought we were done with this. I thought I was done having to talk about how stupid this video thing is, and now it's back because we just can't come up with any better drama than that. And also, I'm still counting down. I'm going to be really interested to see how long it takes in the book before this other boy comes in. I'm assuming the other boy is Josh, because it says a boy from her past, and that's the only thing that makes sense. So I'm counting the pages before Josh makes an appearance and she starts to have feelings for him again, because that still has not happened. You know, it's funny to me because her dad says, "It pains me that you didn't come to me when things were so hard for you at school. I knew you were going through something, but I didn't want to push too hard." Why didn't you even ask her? Like, maybe he did off screen or something, but we haven't seen him even, like, what do you mean push too hard? He didn't even say, "Hey, it seems like something's been going on with you. Are you sure everything's okay at school?" Like, that's not pushing too hard. That's just being a father and asking your daughter a question. And I don't think he's even done that. So I don't know what he means by "I didn't want to push too hard." So she's talking to her dad about Peter, and he asks if they're serious. And she says, "How serious can you be in high school anyway?" And that seems like a really self-aware thing to say. Like, I guess maybe Lara Jean is self-aware enough to think that, but I think most people who are in high school and, like, your feelings are so heightened and stuff, most people wouldn't think, like, "Oh, well, we're just in high school, so this probably isn't gonna last," or we're not really that serious, because how serious can a high school relationship be? And also, it kind of bugs me because I disagree with that sentiment. I think high school relationships can totally be serious. Like, I was in a very serious relationship in high school, and it didn't work out, but it's not like it was much more serious than this. We had a lot more depth than this, and I've read tons of YA books that have so much more depth than this, and just people in general have more depth than Lara Jean does as a character, not even in relation to her relationship with Peter, but just as a person herself, she doesn't seem like a very deep person. So I think, how serious can you be in high school? Well, a lot more than you are right now. That's for sure. That's just true. Here's another strange comparison. I don't know if I'd call it a simile exactly, but she's talking about something her mom said about her dad was that she liked the way he paid attention in class and how his hair was a little too long in the back, like an absent-minded professor. Is that like a common trait of absent-minded professors, that they have hair that's a little too long in the back? I have not heard that, but maybe it's a thing, and I just don't know. So after Lara Jean talks to her dad about Peter and about the video, and they have a little conversation about her mom, she calls Peter and tells him that her dad found out about the video and stuff, and that's all we get of their conversation, which, again, is just another thing that a little bit irks me, is that we only ever get, like, just exactly, like, what is needed for the scene and nothing more. Unless it's an entire chapter about something pointless, like that they're watching TV and what they're eating and what they're wearing. But we don't ever, from Peter, and Peter and Lara Jean together, we don't ever get more than just exactly, like, I called him and I told him this, and this is what he said, and that was it. Like, it's just, I don't know, I'm getting tired. In fact, you know, I'm probably gonna stop right now, because I think I'm getting a little too tired of reading this book. I'm just kind of over it, so I'm not really having enough fun commentary, because I just feel like I'm just saying the same things over and over, and I'm tired. So I'm gonna stop right there. We're definitely halfway through the book at this point, and still no mention of Josh. That's just insane. Can we just stop for a second and realize how insane that is? You pick up a book, you read what it's about, and you think, oh, that sounds fun, I want to read that. And then you read freaking 26 chapters and it hasn't even begun to introduce that plot. Who on earth would continue reading this book? If this wasn't a second book in a series and people weren't like, you know, like already kind of invested in these characters, I feel like nobody would keep reading it because they would just be like, what the heck is this book? It said it was going to be about like kind of a love triangle thing with this other boy returning to her life, but that hasn't happened in 26 chapters. So I would long ago stop. What am I trying to say? I would have long ago stopped reading this book, is what I'm trying to say. And I really am interested to see, like, I don't know. I don't want to read ahead too much, but I flipped ahead a bit, and I have not even seen Josh's name anywhere. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but not right now, because I'm over it. I'm gonna go do something more fun, like cleaning my house. That's more fun than reading this book. Although, to be fair, I'm weird and I actually do really like cleaning my house, so that doesn't really say that much. But I just have to say, this book is starting to get so bad that it's not even fun anymore. It's not quite to that point yet. I think I'm still having fun doing this review, but I am questioning whether or not I'm gonna do the third one, because I kind of have assumed that I would do the third one after this, but I don't know. It's getting to the point where it's just so bad, and so bad for the same reasons over and over, that I'm not really sure if it's fun to film and to read, and if it will be fun to watch, because it's not fun to watch something that's super repetitive. So, I don't know. Let me know in the comments, I guess, if this is still fun to you. If you think I should do the third book after this. Obviously, I still have quite a bit left to do of this one, so we'll see how that goes. But I am really morbidly curious to see what the third book is even gonna be, because I feel like this book doesn't even need to exist, because it's been absolutely nothing so far, and no plot. So I really can't comprehend what a third book in this series would even be. So I am curious. Anyway, those are just my thoughts as I lay here and just transition out of reading garbage into doing other things with my day. So there we go. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for this week's video. Honestly, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of reading this book. It's not good, and I don't like it. And if I wasn't doing these videos, I would have stopped reading it a long time ago. But we're getting through it. At this point of filming this clip, I am about to start chapter 45 out of 56. So we're getting there, but slowly and painfully. So if you want to continue to watch my torture, tune in next week for the next installment of this series.